It's Tuesday. I'm not really doing a tech tip video. We're doing back to school sewing this week.
Hi guys!
Hi, Leah here. We are making kid-size masks today using our previous mask video and slightly different elastic routing. So we're gonna make one of these and we're gonna add a name. So we're gonna do elastic a little bit differently than how Anne did in her previous videos because she did over the ear elastic. Both my kids decided they didn't really like that. And then I made a mask for a friend's daughter who wears glasses. So the glasses and the mask didn't work together. So we're gonna do elastic around the back of the head. So when I measured my kids to figure out how wide we needed to be, I measured kind of cheekbone to cheekbone, and where I wanted the mask to end was the width that I'm gonna cut the fabric, and the length that I'm cutting I measured from kind of the bridge of their nose down under their chin, and then doubled that. So my kids are grade 3 and grade 4. This is very much, I would measure the people you're sewing for before you get all excited, but the pattern will work no matter what size of face you have. And then the elastic might be a little bit of an experiment for the first one, depending how big your kiddo is. So my kids, again, they're 8 and 9, and they both kind of measured up the same. So I cut their masks at 7 by 14. 10. There we go. So 10 to 24, and we'll go over to 7. 4. So 7 by 14 is my magic size for my kid's mask. And then we're going to press this the same way Anne has pressed in her previous videos. So at this point, I have 2 box pleats, and this is the center of the mask. The magic size for elastic that I've used, I've cut 2 different length of pieces, and the first piece is the shorter of the 2. I've been cutting those at 9 inches, and the second one at 11. And I'm just doing 1/8 inch elastic because that's what I had with me. And the kids it seems to be working for my kids. It's really stretchy. It's got a lot of give. So it's not going to feel really tight on your little one's head, which I'm sure they're going to like. So the smaller piece of elastic is going to go at the bottom of the mask around the back of the neck. So it's going to be sitting up here. And the longer piece of elastic might go over their ears, depending how they want to wear their mask across their cheeks. But the little girl that I made that wears glasses, she actually put it under her ears, and it held the mask down close enough to her cheeks that her glasses didn't fog up. So she was pretty thrilled. Every mask she tried on at that point fogged up her glasses. So shorter one goes in the middle when you're putting this together. That's the middle there, and the outside here. And I put those about a 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch in. So there's not a lot of science at this point. Get it in there and then get it folded shut. And then that's going to go back into that fold there. So the elastic, I butted right up into the bottom fold. And the longer elastic from the top, right about there. And leaving it that 1/4 inch in from the edge gave me space to sew this shut at the end. And then put those box pleats back together because I didn't think to clip those ahead of time. Let's do this as awkwardly as possible for everybody. Once you've done a couple, it's pretty easy. And I kind of pinned all of mine, like cut all of them, pressed all of them, and then pinned the elastic in all of them. So then our box pleats are lined up on top of each other. And we can clip. I was doing this with 6 clips, and it was working pretty good. And then I could have 6 clips on the next one and chain piece them, make as many as I can in an afternoon. Okay, so at this point, this one is ready to sew. Right now, I'm just in a straight stitch. I'm going to program this machine to stop with the needle in the down position. So that little icon there will be your needle program stop down. And I'm actually just going to start inward a little bit. So those first 2 stitches, we're going to back up over the elastic. It's going to make it a little easier to get started. That's depending how wide your elastic is there, it might be tricky. There we go. And then your stiletto is your friend when you need to hold pleats down and not put your fingers in there. And I don't remember how Anne was doing her corners here. I think she was just sewing off the end and finishing a different way. That's not how I've been doing it. And then I've actually been turning the corner and sewing inward ways. I haven't put nose bars in these ones, so I'm not worried about leaving an opening for a nose bar up here. We're leaving an opening, and then we'll continue to sew around the other side of this. Shove all that elastic inside. Okay, so we have the side sewn and the side sewn. Our elastic's sewn in already, and now we're going to turn it. We could trim threads if we were being more diligent. So get in there with your thumb and fold your seam allowance over, and fold your seam allowance over, and transfer that onto your finger. Get yourself a nice square corner. Fold your seam allowance in, nice square corner. Seam allowance. Transfer your finger, nice corner. 4 nice corners, look at that. Pull that through our tiny little opening. But then I would top stitch around the outside here, and I've been adding names. So like I said, the longer elastic is the top piece, and the shorter elastic is the bottom piece. My kids like to wear things properly, so they want to know exactly where the bottom is and which way is the right way out. So putting a name in the same place on every mask is how I'm helping them keep track of how to put their mask on. So we're gonna add a name. let's do some programming and put a different foot on. So on this Bernina, to get into our lettering, we have our lettering folders, but if I just click on there, I'm going to get a whole string of A's, which is not what I want for this. I would actually like to have a name. So to do a name, you're going to go into what Bernina calls combination mode, which is the plus sign on the bottom of the screen here. I don't want my letters 9mm tall. There's not really enough space. So the trick on this machine, when it's a 9mm machine, if you want to do narrower lettering easily, tell it you have a 5.5mm plate on. It will keep your stitch at a maximum of 5.5mm wide. So we'll do Eli's mask first, because his name is shorter. There's the rest of my alphabet. E-L-I. Nice and easy. And it's going to start at the beginning there on the E. And then I've just done this at the bottom of the mask, starting in this corner. And I'm going in just a little bit so that it's not, I don't want to be right on the edge of my fabric, and I don't want to be right on the edge. Normally I would have top stitched this already, but we can do this in whichever order we want. So we're just going to sew. E is showing on screen which letter we're on. When we're on the last letter, I'm going to hit the pattern end function, which is the triangle with the little line, and it will stop after that I. And then cut the thread. And then Eli knows where the bottom of Eli's mask is. Which is pretty straightforward and easy. Generally for decorative stitches like this, I would suggest having like a tearaway stabilizer underneath. It'll help support the stitches and keep it moving smoothly. Lazy mom here. I didn't do tearaway stabilizer. It's a mask. It's going to go in and out of laundry, in and out of backpacks. It's going to fall in the mud, get juice on it. I don't know. I didn't worry too much about this. It's not rocket science. It's a mask. So by all means, play with your tension and adjust those other things if this would drive you up the wall. It's not driving me up the wall. Because I've had to make a bunch and I've gone back and forth with names, I can show you how to save the name so you don't have to redo this. So on this Bernina, to save this name, we're going to go into the heart and save into this folder, and then the green check mark. And then I can delete all those letters out and go make my next name for the other kiddo. Her name is roughly 7mm long. It's not very big, but big enough for your kids to see that it's theirs. And then we could save this one as well. And it will save in there. So when we go to find these again, so we go back, we've done some regular sewing. So if we come back in and we want to open one of those saved designs, we'll go into combination mode. And then find our heart. And then we can open a combined file. We can open her name up and stitch it over and over and over again after they lose all their masks by week 2. This one will probably fit me wrong. But there we go. Tiny little kid's mask. It's actually pretty comfortable. I don't mind the size. Anne says she's leaving a 4-inch gap for nose bars. That's about right for the ones we've been bringing in. Experiment. Everybody's really different. So far, my kids have been to the grocery store and a few other places with me wearing this style, and they're not touching their face the whole time. So they're sitting comfortably enough that they're not fidgeting and touching them. We'll see how it goes over the next couple weeks as school gets going. Just measure cheekbone to cheekbone, nose to chin, and then elastic from here around to the back and from the bottom around the back of the neck. And you will figure out which way to make this all work for yourselves. And you can check out all the proper instructions on folding this in mask video 1. That is week 1 of back to school sewing, or day 1 of back to school sewing. Thank you for joining me. Be safe, be kind, calm. Be happy you can stay home and isolate, and please really take it easy on the city streets. Wherever you live this week, school's going back, and all the rules about dropping kids off are different, so please pay attention to school zones. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week. Or tomorrow. Tomorrow. I got this.